the challenge of being a property manager is we really have two customers. We have a client who we have a fiduciary responsibility to, which is the property owner and the homeowner, but we also have a customer in the tenant. And oftentimes those two parties want very different things. If there's a maintenance request, something breaks, obviously the investor and us as their property manager, we want to find the most efficient, cost-effective, quality repair we can. And sometimes it might take a day or two to get someone to come out there. Whereas the tenant wants it fixed in an hour, and they want it replaced with the latest and greatest model, or they want to upgrade the house at the same time it's being happened. So the truth or the right answer oftentimes lays somewhere in between, and maybe not everybody's entirely happy with the outcome, but we've done the best we can for both parties to keep our property investor and our client out of trouble with the laws and keeping their property in good shape while keeping the tenant in and paying, et cetera. So property management is really just communication and dealing with conflict a lot. Even if it's not people arguing and yelling, there's inherent conflict in maintenance from both sides. It's it's someone's home they're living in and something's not working and they want it fixed. And so customer service is very, very important. And I think far too few property managers actually look at the tenant as one of their customers, because really they get paid from the property owner. That's who our contract's with, and that's how we make our money. But as we're talking about maximizing your property's value or maximizing your property's performance, the tenant is really key to your return on investment. Keeping your tenant happy, keeping them paying, keeping them in the property. Turnover is what kills you in this business. Having downtime, vacancy, rehab, repairs, all that kind of stuff. And so having a good, positive relationship with your resident, even if it sometimes means maybe spending a little bit more than you wanted to spend on a repair or giving them a credit for something when something happens. You don't want to be overly generous with those things, or just kind of whittles down your returns as well. But I think that's just super important. And so our job is to really advise our clients through that process and hopefully create a great experience for our residents that are living in our properties while doing all we can to maximize the return on investment. And that really just happens through good communication, educating both parties as to how things go and what the process looks like and why we're doing certain things. And so, I think customer service, while it's important in any business, in this one, I look at customer service as just really great communication and expectation setting. And that's probably our number one job.
Yeah, and I really like that you've said that the tenant is your customer as well.
Right.
Because, and especially it's important for the property owner, investor to understand that too, because without the tenant, there's no rental income. And without rental income, there's no value.
There's no business.
There's no business.
Right.
So it's really important. I think a lot of property owners kind of forget it or don't realize it. They just think they should be paying because you're giving them a property.
Right. Well, it can be generally when you're dealing with your tenant or your resident that's living in the property. Again, it's a problem. You don't often talk to your tenant just because, and you're going to say hello and ask how their day was. That rarely happens. And so when you are dealing with tenants, it's because some kind of problem's there, whether there is a maintenance request, they're calling to give notice to move out, they are going to be late on their rent, or they didn't pay their rent on time, or you're chasing it down, or whatever it is, there's some sort of issue. And that's what property management is, and you have to work through it. And that's why so many people like to outsource those things. They don't have to deal with problems all day long. But I think that's where the inherent, to your point, conflict of maybe investors oftentimes forgetting that the tenant's a very important part of this equation, and keeping them happy in the property while living inside the bounds of the lease agreement is important and challenging. And I think because oftentimes it's just frustrating, right? You get the call at the worst time ever. You just got home from work, you're sitting down for dinner, and now you got to deal with this issue. And so it's inherently challenging, but certainly a key piece of the business.
Yep. Want to hear more on this topic? Click the link below for the full episode of Maximizing Your Property Value.